Hello, my name is Anna Ridler. I'm an artist based in London. For the past 4 or 5 years, I've been working a lot with artificial intelligence or machine learning. A lot of the time, people think that my work is often just a pretty flower, but underneath all of that, there is so much research and thinking and ideas and concepts that kind of sit behind it. And flowers themselves are kind of not just this pretty domestic thing. They have these roots in kind of economics, capitalism, colonialism, and all sorts of things that kind of like you can start to explore through this notion of a flower. I'm using kind of the natural world to explore and maybe expose the absurdities of these human systems through the use of kind of natural objects. I'm very interested in kind of land and environmental artists whose work is naturally quite fleeting. I think there are so many parallels between kind of the way that I work and the way that they work, the way that kind of so much of it is research-based, so much of it is about planning, and then allowing something that you can't control to kind of act upon all of that planning. In their case, it's, the weather or rivers or whatever. And in my case, it's kind of technology. But in both cases, kind of the works aren't intended to exist forever. I took as inspiration the phenomenon of tulip mania, which happened in Holland in the 16th century, where a tulip bulb went for the same price as an Amsterdam townhouse at the height of the mania, before collapsing to being the same price as an onion. And this is one of the first recorded speculative bubbles. One piece called mosaic virus, after the disease that causes the stripes in the tulip petals. The most stripy tulips were considered to be the most valuable at the height of the mania. So it's kind of bringing in this idea of value again and comparing it to the speculation that is ongoing around cryptocurrencies. Each screen is a single tulip flower that move, and the shape and the appearance of the tulip is controlled by the price of Bitcoin. So as the price of Bitcoin goes up, the tulip becomes more stripy. Then created another project that is in this series of tulip works called Bloom Unveiling with David Vowell, who's a scientific researcher and artist. My interest in NFTs has always been conceptual. I'm really interested in using things like the smart contract to explore ideas around ownership, around value, around scarcity, around pricing. I created this auction site where people could bid and buy these videos, and I kind of created these custom smart contracts that would kind of control how long these kind of artificial tulips lasted for, blighting them after a week once someone bought them. I was inspired by the idea of a corpse flower, which is this very rare flower that is mainly experienced in botanical gardens that will only bloom once every decade. It's called a corpse flower because it smells like rotting dead flesh. There is a direct parallel between the kind of idea of the spectacle that is heavily embedded in the world of NFTs, where people are using the NFTs as a way of signaling something. Or the real corpse flower, people spend kind of like huge amounts of time and money to try and grow and try and get a glimpse of it. And I'm interested to see whether this kind of like digital replica of it will have the same effect. It will only exist for a few days once it's been purchased, before kind of disappearing. The finiteness of this piece also is playing with the ideas of permanence are embedded inside kind of like the blockchain. I think kind of like there's this idea that digital work should last forever, but the idea of digital rot is inherent whenever you make with technology. And I think again that everyone kind of assumes that because something is on the internet or because something is kind of like digital, it will be around forever, but it's not. It's a material like anything else, and like all materials, it will kind of like decay and collapse at some point.